Okay, here we go, you guys. I think we might know what Elise thinks, but we'll get her opinion in a second. Listen, 2 kills in the first 5 minutes. I mean, come on.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Sorry I cut you off, Elise. I knew seen you were going to say something, and then I just went right into the intro because two
All
kills,
good.
2 kills in the first 5 minutes. That's got to be a record. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I liked the opening. The opening, like the beginning of the film, I enjoyed. It was just most of most of the rest of it.
Okay, we'll talk about it. Listen, I enjoyed it. So people in the chat, I enjoyed it, but we'll discuss it back and forth. That's the whole thing. She didn't like it really too much. I liked it. Okay, it's not the best, but Connie, thank you so much for the 3 gifts, gifting memberships there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the best. She just came up
Yeah,
on 2
thank you,
years.
Connie.
Yeah, she got a little red badge now. 2 years of supporting the channel. How awesome. So hello to Connie Clary, CM, John McKee, Harry Scott. Fight Club is here. Good to see you. Harry Scott, what's going on? And Elise, you say that name. I still don't know how to pronounce that. Nabeshugs?
Nabishugs.
Nabishugs. Okay, Nabishugs. Let me make sure I get that down from now on.
Or you could just call them Hugs. That's
yeah, Hugs. You know, I may call you Hugs, whatever. CM, what's going on? Good to see you. Yes, we are talking about 7 Blood-Stained Orchids, 1972.
great name.
What's that?
Great title. I love the name.
Listen, I mean, these movies, there's nothing better than the titles. I mean, I did a whole stream where we came up with titles to Giallo films, you know, so it was an awesome stream. We had fun just coming up with titles to Giallo films because yes, the names are, listen, there's an actress in here who we will touch on, Marina Mulfatti. She's the one who was, listen, she was very beautiful. She's the one that got killed with the silver, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, she's stunning.
Oh, yes. Her name is Kathy Adams in the movie. She's either the 3rd or 4th killed. I can't remember. We'll talk about it. There's a lot we're not going to probably know. I was a little confused on some of the things in the movie, but Marina Mulfatti, she was in 3 other movies that I've reviewed already. The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave, All the Colors of the Dark, the Red Queen Kills 7 Times. All great titles, right, Elise? I mean, you gotta love it. You know,
Yeah.
So, but she's Edwidge Fenwick is always considered the Giallo queen, and technically, yeah, I think so. But Marina Mulfatti's been in quite a few Giallos of her own, so there you go. John McKee is here too. So yeah, let's start talking about this. This is directed by Umberto Lenzi. This is probably the most Giallo feeling movie that he's done. He's done quite a bit. And we get Mario, who is it in this? Antonio Sabato. Wasn't his son kind of famous here for a little while in the States? Antonio
Was he?
I thought. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll continue. We'll go on. Love these doodles. Cheese doodles. What? Love cheese doodles? Okay.
Oh, apparently CM says it's Happy National Cheese Doodle Day.
Okay.
Did not know that, but now I might have to get them.
Some cheese doodles. Yeah. Okay, so where to start with this movie? Listen, I can go on and on and on. You talk, Elise. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, can we the music that plays through the opening credits and that plays a lot throughout the entire movie. Just that bass, the boom, 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 boom. That will be in my head forever.
Is that a good thing? I mean, because I thought the music in this was pretty darn good. It was okay.
No, I liked it. Just that's the music in these Giallo films. I personally enjoy them a lot, but sometimes, and I guess we can talk about that later. But when it's played during or right after a kill, sometimes it's a very weird tonal shift. But I like that, the funky 70s bass. It's cool.
No, there's a lot of that. And listen, a lot of these movies are like right around 1970, 71, 72. So you get that. And even in this movie, you'll notice when Mario, and we'll talk about the characters in a second, when he takes off speed. Listen, I don't think there's a speed limit, at least in over there in Italy, because Mario jumped in that car and he took off 100 miles an hour. I'm like going, what the heck is going on?
Well, I mean, having seen how people drive in Rome, it is a free for all. So I think there definitely is a speed limit, but I don't know how much it's actually adhered to.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm just looking really quick. Sorry, Elise, give me a second. Hey, Mike Barrett. Connie, you may have, or somebody may have deleted that maybe. But Fight Club, there's one thing we don't do on this channel, and just never put that in the chat again. Anything like that. I don't care if World War III breaks out as we're doing a show. I don't want to hear anything that deals with politics, that deals with Putin, or anything like that. This is a show to
unless it's in the movie.
What's that?
Unless it's in the movie.
Yeah. Even then, I don't know if it's necessary for the point of. Anyways, not the place for it. But I hear you, man. I hear you. Hey, Kathy, what's going on? Good to see you. And Mike Barrett in the chat. The Giallo has a really good pace to it. This one does. He's a big Giallo fan. So again, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but the cars, when Mario speeds off, there was a transition in music. That's what I was getting to, because you said that, where the music changed really fast and it turned into this kind of fun, hip kind of 70s kind of, music. It's just really weird, very odd. So yeah.
Yeah, and you see that quite a bit in Giallo films, just in general. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Connie. Anyways, yeah, I don't know what's going on in the world right now, but I don't even care. Anyways, so we got characters, Elise. We know that we're in for a treat. It's 7 blood-stained orchids. So we know that there's going to be 7. Well, there should be 7 people killed. But that doesn't
7 potential victims.
Yes, because 2 of them somehow escape, and it comes into play in the movie in a weird way, in a stupid way. Towards the end there, when we get to Julia, it's kind of dumb. And I will say that the ending was very lackluster. The whole movie, ups and downs, good and bad. Really exciting things going on, and then all of a sudden, how it ended, I'm just like, and we'll get to that. But yeah, right? Am I wrong?
No, I agree with you. The ending just, lackluster is a very good term for it. It just kind of, it's rushed, and then just the movie just ends.
Yeah. Again,
there's all this build up to, and all these red herrings and this big mystery, and a couple sleuthing on their own, doing way better work than the actual police. Again, another movie that has just pretty shoddy police work. But yeah, then the ending just ends on just a wet fart.
Yes, it's just a very, bad ending. Anyways, Ian Sharp, and it's the one thing that I was watching this movie and I was like, I'm enjoying this. I really am. Believe it or not, at least I was enjoying it. But then that last 2 minutes, I'm like, on what? Okay, this is it. But anyways, not much nudity, says Connie Claire. Yeah, no, not much nudity. We do get Kathy Adams, dressed up very beautiful, and that happens. But there are those 7 women. Okay, so there are characters in here, and there's the main character of Mario. We'll just say Mario. Mario.
Yeah, Mario and Julia.
2 main characters, yes. And again, I don't need to say the names, who they are. I mean, it is what it is. But they're the main characters. We got the inspector who's bumbling around. They don't, like Aleece says, they don't really know what they're doing. Mario is the one who is kind of breaking everything down and figuring everything out. And was he an artist or something? I forget.
He was a fashion designer.
There you go. Why not?
Yeah.
It's a Giallo. Make him a fashion designer. And, but he was coming up.
Yeah, I mean, but it's kind of funny though, because, him being a fashion designer, but overall the movie does seem to look down on artists very largely. Even Mario says something to Julia like, "Oh, I have to spend the evening with abstract painters," and when he's going to try to find someone in like an artist community in Rome, and just seems that they're like, "Oh, those stupid artists and hippies, and they're all, druggies." Like, that just does not seem to have a high opinion of artists in general.
Yeah, it seems that way, because there's a point in the movie where, oh God, one of the other characters who's his name's what is his name? He's the photographic memory guy. Raphael.
Okay. I don't remember what his name was, so good on you.
Yeah, he's the older gentleman that tells Mario. He says, maybe you should go to. Oh no, maybe it's the older guy that. See, you're making me look at this film and go, yeah, what a piece of crap. Nevertheless, there's an old guy that tells him to go off to where all the vagabonds, the painters, and the hippies are. So they're all in this like park area where they're all just, living life not to the fullest, I don't know, and painting whatever in the park. And yeah, they're looked down upon a little bit, but that is where he gets a clue that takes him to one of the characters or red herrings in the film named Barrett, who actually is a druggie or whatever. But yeah, there's that. Ian Sharp, what's going on? Quite a few Giallo movies feature the fashion world. I've said it a million times. I've done over 40, and it's Italy, it's Europe, it's European. 70s.
This was a very fashionable movie. I'm like, okay, this movie, loving the fashion, loving the location, loving the cars, like all of that, amazing.
Yeah. Yes. If anything, those are the 3 things that they do. I mean, it just comes with the time period, you know what I mean, and the location.
Yeah. And so, I'm very much a sucker for like the late 60s, early to mid 70s aesthetic in general. I just like the clothing, the hairstyles, just the overall vibe. I love it. So from that perspective, like this movie was great.
Oh yeah, no, same here. That's same here for me. That's why I dove into this big long journey I'm taking. And, whether it's good or bad, it's kind of an experience. And yes, I definitely love the style, and it is in this film too. And most of the films, the women are just dressed so elegantly, and there's a certain style to it. Like you said, you mentioned the cars too. Heck, not only is it from that time period, but it's European, and the little Italian cars that they drive around in are just so fun.
Oh, the Italian cars are so good.
Oh, geez. So we got the Mario Julia inspector. We have some victims because what ends up happening is who they call the Half Moon Killer, because what happens, Elise, with that little half moon thing? I mean,
Well, every time he kills, and it's always a woman, and not every time, but a lot of the times they are at least topless, but he has like a half moon medallion that he leaves on the body.
yeah.
And that's his like trademark calling card thing.
Yeah, which kind of makes him seem like I'm trying to distinguish. There's a reason behind what's going on and why he's doing the killings of these victims.
Yeah.
They kind of allude, I think, in a way, of him being some kind of serial killer, and he's really enjoying what he's doing, even though he's doing it for a reason. I don't know if you got that same kind of vibe. No?
While watching it, I
Yeah.
didn't, but
Okay.
in retrospect, I could see that.
Okay, maybe. Okay, because listen, the main reason that he is doing these killings and why it's 7 bloodstained orchids, which bloodstained orchids, I don't know, that doesn't come. It's alluding to the 7 women that he's going to kill, and there is some kind of artistic feel to the way he kills, with the blood dripping on his victim. Thus, again, is he taking pleasure in killing them for the reason that he's killing them, or is he taking pleasure in that? You know what I mean, Elise?
Yeah, and also the fact that, as we find out, he doesn't know which one of his victims is the reason for him killing in the first place, but he's still, like, without even discerning who is at fault he's still very willing to just kind of indiscriminately kill anybody who might be at fault for the reason he's killing them. And I think that would suggest that he does enjoy it. So I didn't think about it that way, but that definitely makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. No. Again, I got that vibe. Whether there were reasons, I don't know why. But do you want to go into, or do you want me to start talking about how, like, what the reason behind all of this is? Because we really didn't even say it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess we can just
I mean, like,
jump right in.
throwing out the hotel list, so we might as well get to the reason
Yeah.
behind why this killer. What the hell's going on with me lately? I don't know. Why this killer is killing to begin with. So go ahead.
Well, the killer, his brother, the American, right? Frank.
Saunders.
Yeah.
Like Colonel Saunders. Oh, that's Colonel.
Yeah, Frank Saunders. Essentially, his brother was killed in an accident, and the driver, who was a woman his brother was in love with, left him to die. And it's revealed that had help been called, had he been brought to a hospital, had an hour beforehand, his life could have been saved. But the woman who caused the accident just left him, and the killer, Frank Saunders' brother, just didn't know the specific identity of the woman, but knew it was one of these 7 women who was staying in a hotel on a certain day. What was it, like February something, 1969? Yes. So he just goes and is one by one killing each of these women, figuring no matter, one of them is the reason that his brother died, and by killing all of them, he's going to get whichever one it actually was.
He's going to get revenge.
Yeah, kind of. It made me think of reminded me a bit of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like, this is a 30-year precursor to that movie.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Listen, any kind of like revenge type murdering spree or killing or whatever. Yeah, I know, I see it. But
and that it was a car crash, and it definitely diverges from how I Know What You Did Last Summer, but that it was help wasn't called, and left that person might have been able to been saved, but yeah.
So it's like, so basically this guy Frank Saunders died in a car crash, and one of these women were with him the night of his death and just fled and didn't like do anything. And this killer, I'm trying not to give it away kind of right now yet, but finds a hotel list at the hotel they all were at, and he narrows it down to these 7 women. Okay. And thus that's why he goes after each and every one of them. But yeah, it's kind of, what am I trying to say here? Boy, what a night this turned out to be. I'm not liking this very well. No, I'm joking. Doof Doof Paranormal, what's going on? Hey, it's Dave Plouffe. What's going on, Dave Plouffe? I lost my train of thought, Aleece. What is going on? Holy moly.
I lost my train of thought a lot while watching this movie.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, the whole hotel thing there, the register, the list, that's where he finds out, and then the killings start, and we start off with the killer killing a prostitute at the beginning of the movie. That's the very first thing we see, and she's one of the people who stayed at the hotel.
Yes, and I had in my notes boobies of the corn.
Boobies of the corn. That sounds about
right. She runs through this like mini cornfield, and that's where she is killed, but topless, and boobies of the corn.
Big board, like wooden board.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very. All of these kills were actually, some of them I was actually a little bit shocked with the brutality of it, and also because the actresses were really selling the like the terror, and so that was that felt like, oh wow, like this is kind of uncomfortable, but we start right off with a kill.
And boobies of the corn. Yeah.
Boobies of the corn.
And that's what you kind of get with those, and not even just the Giallo films, but even the early slashers. I mean, women are selling being killed, and it's nudity and it's violence, and not to say that that's good, but it is what it is. It's a genre of its own that was a thing back in the day. I don't know. Giallo films tend to do that a lot in these movies. Like even at the beginning, where all the prostitutes are just hanging out there. I'm just like, I'm always just perplexed, like going, seriously? Like, there's not a cop or police officer that understands that there's 50 women just walking around in this area, just with everything out and guys picking them up. I don't get it. But
yeah, well then things like that, like in Europe and in Italy, very different standards than here in America. Nudity and things like that, and sex are not as taboo, and definitely not in Italy. They aren't. It's not viewed in the same way that it's not quite as puritanical as it can be in the U.S. So that like didn't really raise any flags for me, because it just culturally, societally, it's very different.
Oh yeah, no, and I get that. I've always known that. Listen, they're not as prude as we are over here in the U.S., especially during this period. They're much more open. Like
It's
the
the
TV, you turn it on.
70s.
Yeah, yeah. But anyways, let's get to the other killings. They're at this art show where we're going to be introduced to some more characters, and one of them is Kathy Adams, the one played by Marina Mulfatti. And the party's going on and stuff, and she makes it back to her house. And there's a scene when she gets back to her apartment house. There's really never any houses in these films. They're always apartments, but that's the way Europe is, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially in cities. Yeah, her apartment was amazing. Also her silver negligee I want. Like I want that negligee. Very pretty.
Yeah. No, listen, this was probably one of the better scenes in the movie. I don't know.
Yeah, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. And then also, like, she's got great style, great hair, a great apartment, and she's got a bunch of kitties and birds. Like, I want to be her. She's awesome. I like this person. And oh well, she's dead now. Damn.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. There's a scene in her apartment where the door's open and she goes to lock it, and the killer's there. It's all played by the book, right down the line. But there's a scene where she gives milk to the cats. I know this is
I hated this. I hated this. Kill all the people you want. Leave the animals alone.
Oh, jeez. Who cares about the people? But the cats.
I don't. Not in horror movies. Just don't kill the animals. Don't kill the kitties.
No,
I have not the kitties in all caps in my notes.
Well, listen, I think there's a reason. There's a reason why they kind of pushed away from all that. Animal rights got involved, and you don't see any of that kind of stuff unless it's like, you totally know it's fake looking and all that. You know what I mean? But back then, in a lot of these Giallos that we've watched, and you've seen even what was the one we did where the dogs were hanging? There's a lot of animals that are in these movies but anyways, the cats, they get their milk and it's poisoned. And it's not just that they're poisoned, it's the way he films it, and he even shoots it from above to where it's pointing down and the cat's laying on the ground. It's so sad. It's so sad.
Yeah.
There's 3 of them laying down and they've been poisoned. And
although the thing that gave me comfort was that these cat actors, I mean, I'm so bummed out, but also they're just clearly just like laying down and chilling. So I'm like, okay, they're fine in reality, but still, I hate this.
Don't cry over spilled milk. Oh boy. But yeah, no, it's but Kathy goes over to it, and did you notice that she like puts her finger in the milk to taste it? And I'm like going, what?
Yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah,
that's
cats must be dying from the milk. Let me go see. Who does that?
If it were my kitties, I might. I'll die with them.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but yeah, so she, Kathy's next on the list, and yeah, she gets it, man. She gets killed, so her death is is complete. But it's a very cool scene how they do it. I mean, with her.
Yes, a very effective and chilling kill. I thought that was really well done. Like showing her brief point of view, like while it's happening, that just, you're seeing through her eyes, like kind of some of the last things she's seeing, like, and her mind, like you are just put into her mindset, and that's incredibly, like, that's terrifying. And then there is a painting in her apartment that the eyes are very much in focus. And after the cats are poisoned, she goes over and there's like red paint splattered on that painting. As she's being attacked, there's like the shots juxtaposing her eyes while being killed with like onto the eyes of this painting. and then the paint dripping down onto her naked torso after she's been killed. Like that, I thought that was very, very well done. Very chilling. Yeah. Good kill.
No, I thought that was like one of the better kills of the movie. A lot of people seem to like the drill kill.
Yeah, that one. I think also I got caught up with the drill kill and just thinking like, oh, her dress would get so caught up on the drill itself. But I mean, I didn't dislike it, but this one did it for me a lot more than the drill kill.
Yeah, and it incorporates the artistry or the everything that is Giallo. So the movie's about fashion. Anyways, I thought it was the coolest kill. And hello, undead chronic son, what's going on? Good to see you. That name just gets me every time. Love it. So then we're taken to a funeral where we're going to be introduced to kind of the rest of the people in the movie, the characters, and they have a police officer who's snapping pictures of every single person at the funeral. The killer's got to be here somewhere. Is there?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Well, is he? I mean, I don't know. I guess he is, though, right?
Yeah, but the police don't know that.
The police don't know.
Oh, but before the funeral, we have the almost murder of Julia on the train in the sleeper cabin.
Oh, I totally went right over that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they hold this fake funeral for Julia to throw the killer off, and everybody, they're just presenting her that she was murdered. She's alive and mostly well. She got slashed a bit, but she's fine. But yeah, so now like the public and the killer are under the impression that she has died, and they hold this giant fake funeral for her, which that would be kind of, I mean, it'd be very like morbid, but that'd be kind of cool to witness. Like do very Huck Finn sort of thing, or is it like
no, I got you. It's just to be like gone. And anyways, it's getting kind of morbid. Yeah. It'd be great to be dead and gone and start fresh. A lot of people do that every year, and their family and friends think they were kidnapped or something. It's terrible. So we'll move on from the subject.
Yeah. I mean, I think all of us have thought about it, like in passing at least once, like, well, what if I just like fake my death, and then I don't know, I'm like working, like I'm working on at a bar on a beach somewhere.
There you go. Yeah. Fantasy Island, whatever. So throughout the rest of the movie, Julia is going to be presumed dead by the killer, so he can move on to the next victim on the list. But there is a scene where Mario is with the police, the inspector, and looking at all the pictures and saying, I know that person, that person, that person. And, trying to pick out who's the red herring, who could it be? He goes, that's a distant cousin or a distant relative. And not that it matters at all, but we are introduced to that. And the Mario goes on doing his sleuthing. But we are introduced to the priest at this point at the funeral, right? He's there. Or no? Am I wrong?
Maybe. No, I don't remember. I remember the priest. I don't remember if this is when we are introduced to him.
Listen, every now and then we get a movie. These Giallos are very confusing. There's a lot going on. And I don't know where the hell I'm at in the film at this point. But who said something here? I need to get back to that. Surprised the killer didn't kick him in the Goombas in the knee. Well, in a lot of these films, again, if they did, then I mean, I guess you could choreograph it to where they're fighting back against the killer, but they usually just and go, oh my God. It's like, wouldn't you run away?
Yeah. that happens a lot in these films. Like, you know, they just, and you know, there's I understand that, you know, you just might freeze up, but it's like, okay, come on, there's like ample time to either get away or do something. But yeah, that seems to be kind of a staple of a lot of these Giallo movies and a lot of the kills.
Well, I think it's one of the things that kind of get to you. You know, you're like, it kind of ramps up your like suspense. You know, like even though you think they should be fighting back, why aren't you fighting? It gets you worked up, and you kind of get maybe a little bit more invested. So I think it's just a movie thing, something that they script into movies. That, listen, it's been going on since the beginning of Hollywood. You know, that even in the 50s, there were monsters who would back people in a corner, and you would see the door 5 feet away, and you're like, why are you going over there in a corner? There's the door right there to escape. But
yeah, or like it's commented on in the first Scream, like, wait, why are you running upstairs from the killer? Why not run out the door? But
right. Well,
then the movie can't happen.
Yeah, Drew Barrymore ran out the door, and she still got it, right? Ian Sharp, she froze. Yeah, there could be an element of shock in there too, where I'm frozen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or she could be going, you know what? It's time to move on. Do what you got. Anyways.
Time to shuffle off this mortal coil.
Welcome to Morbid Reviews. So anyways, Mario and Julia get this flat too, so nobody knows where she's at or anything like that. But we're introduced to the next victim. She's a psycho in an asylum. Her name is Elena.
Yes, Elena Markey.
Yes, Markey.
Yeah. Now, this is something that really stood out to me, and stood out to me a few times throughout this movie, but a lot of times, like, you can see that these, the actress playing Eleanor Markey, she was fantastic. But I thought that, like, I'm like, okay, like, she's doing an amazing performance, but the quality of the dubbing is really doing a disservice to her performance, and kind of taking away from that. And I will not speak ill of The Killer is One of 13. Like, even though that movie, it was, you know, it only had subtitled, but you saw like the actual performances coming through, and you know, and I know that is such a thing with Giallo films. Like, the dubbing is kind of its own beast, and sometimes it doesn't detract from it.
Yeah, no, I get you. Sometimes it can take away from the character. 100%, I get that. Overall, I've embraced it, and I've come to love it. Like, it's schlocky, and sometimes the worse the dubbing is, the better it is for me. So, you know. Yeah,
and I guess with like a movie like Pieces, like, that totally works. And with other films that are a bit more, just more campy, I guess. But this, like, her performance, like, she was going very playing it straight and very legit. And some of the dubbing just kind of took away from that. And it, like, and I watch a good bit of anime. And I usually will watch the dubbed rather than subbed, because, you know, it's just easier for me that way. But you really do it when you have very good voice actors, you know, doing the dubbing. It just makes such a huge difference, and you know, it can kind of make or break like the tone of a scene, the performance itself, and that stood out to me with this character a lot, because, like, she's really selling it and giving it her all, but the dubbing makes it kind of goofy.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying 100%. Where I embrace it, I also understand that if it's done not so well, and a character's trying to put forth a good effort and it just doesn't go well and mix together, it can kind of throw you off and go, come on, this is just ridiculous. And in this case, she is a good actress, and she's been in other films, which I can't, to remember all these long names of Giallo films, I just can't do it. But she's been in other films and done really well. I think it was All the Colors of the Dark she was in, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Have you seen all the Colors of the Dark, Aleece?
I have not.
That's got Edwidge Fenwick in it, and it's a beautiful movie. Anyways, yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. But this character is a little nutty, and she's in this kind of insane asylum, and they don't overdo the people that are nuts around her. Oh, wait, I shouldn't say that because they have issues. Yeah, I'll say that. What were you going to say, Aleece?
Oh, yeah. Just they didn't harp on it too much. And, there's a irony to her character and her death. Like, she has a persecution complex, but then she actually is is being targeted and murdered, and the nurses just brush it off.
Yeah, I think that was a shame. I mean, yeah, she was crying out for help. There was a point where she was locked in her room. Why she was locked in her room, I don't think she was a hazard to anybody. But anyways, they locked her in the room, and the nurse said, she'll stop in a little bit. You gave her a pill. She'll chill out. But she genuinely was frightened because she knew, or she thought she was going to be killed, and technically she was, and she didn't know it. So even though she has this kind of mental issue with people are after her, this kind of paranoia, which comes with schizophrenia and whatever, there's a whole road we can go down. She was trying to pull that kind of thing off. She was alluding to a couple people, especially the old lady sitting in the chair. She's gonna kill me. She's got a knife, and here it's a thermometer, but whatever. But yeah, she's in the room, and the killer's in there too. And it is kind of a sad moment because you're gonna get your death that is coming, and God, how they right? I mean, a little bit different in this murder.
He drowns her in the bathtub, and there's something about drowning in horror movies, or in general, but like when somebody is physically drowned, character it just feels so personal, and it's so bloodlessly violent, and it gives a completely different, it's a different thing than stabbing or slitting. It's all very personal, but there's something about drowning that I've always found like particularly monstrous.
Oh, it's one of my greatest fears. Like the greatest, like the worst way to go is drowning. One of them, but drowning's up there. Yes, it's scary. It's scary. I'm sure for anybody, but particularly it's up there for me. I'm like going, yikes.
Yeah.
So but she, in this scene, it's not overly it's not over the top, but
it's not overly gratuitous, but
she gets her due with the drowning. And Mike Barrett, you got a couple things you're saying here. The voice actors are good in this film. Well, again, most of them probably were, but not all of them are going to be a hit for each character. Like Aleece said, some of them aren't that great, and the one for Elena didn't do too good of a job for what she was trying to do. And listen, Mike Barrett, I know you've watched a lot of Giallo films. I know I've just watched, I'm over 40. You've probably watched more than me, but you said you tend to watch them in their Italian language with subs. That's a little bit better than, what was the movie we just watched? The Spanish Giallo? What was that? You remember?
The killer is one of 13.
Yes. Now
right? Yeah.
that was we were looking at the dubs and I couldn't even look fast enough up to see
This movie made me appreciate that one a lot more.
right?
In general. But
Yes.
yeah.
Drowning and blown away by a tornado. You know what?
Yeah, those are tornadoes terrify me, and I've had lots of like nightmares about tornadoes, and that that terrifies me. So
when I was a teenager, I would have this recurring nightmare of a tornado coming up the back of our hill to our house.
Oh my God.
Daylights out of me. So yes, I totally get that for sure. I'm trying to think when we're introduced to this this priest character. Mario starts to run around. He's doing all the work for the police. He's figuring everything out. And as he's doing this, he's being introduced to all these other characters, right? And I'm trying to think, do you got any notes or anything? Like, where are we at right now? Who do we come up to now?
Oh God, it was at this point where I don't know, maybe I just wasn't in the right the right frame of mind for this, but it was at this point where I was just like, okay, what is happening now? How much more movie is there left to watch? But yeah, he's
okay, so yeah, no, I hear you. I've been through some of those films before. All I know is Mario is running around and he's asking all kinds of questions. It's the middle of the movie. It's where he's running around trying to get all the facts, trying to find out who this killer is. And again, he's introduced to, I think he's introduced to the priest. He's introduced to a couple other characters, a couple other victims who get killed. But that's when he's told to go to where the vagabonds, hippies and stuff are. And he goes to a place where there's this big kind of artsy orgy type thing going on there.
Yeah.
Like a drug den, orgy den, art den, all in one. I mean,
pretty much.
Sounds like a fun place to be, you know. I don't know. But Barrett's there, and this is a red herring because listen, this guy didn't kill anybody, but that we know of. I got to look a little deeper in his history, but you know, as of this point, he's good to go because he's dead now. But anyways, he's just the bad guy in this scenario, and that's Mario's kind of pushing, you know, for trying to find the killer and stuff like that. And he comes up with Frank Saunders, the name. I think this is where he gets it, right?
I do think it is around this point. For a while, they're just calling him the American, but
okay. You're going.
Yeah.
I shut it off right about here. I don't know what you're talking about, but did you at least make it to the end of the film?
Oh no, I did. I didn't shut it off. Just my mind was just kind of like, what is happening? At one point, I think Julia, she says, nothing makes any sense in this story. I'm like, boom, there's the movie. Me too. At this point, I'm right with you, Julia. Nothing makes sense in this story.
Yeah. No. So there's that scene where he leaves his number. I do believe for Frank Saunders. Listen, Mike Barrett could tell me probably. I don't know, but he leaves it on his poster and goes away, and he's going to get a call from that person or from somebody. Anyways, whatever.
Yeah, he gets a call and saying, "Oh, Frank Saunders, meet him. Like you can meet him in the set, like at this location in the cemetery."
Yeah, it's a cemetery, and that's where he finds out that he's dead. And
so he asks, like, is it the cemetery worker or something? He's like, oh, I'm looking for an American, Frank Saunders. And I'm like, and joking, I'm like, oh, he's buried over here. And then he leads him to the gravestone of Frank Saunders. I'm like, I was kidding, but
No, yeah, he's dead, and then soon after that, we're led to Raphael again. He's the older gentleman, like I said earlier, he says he's got a photographic memory.
Yes, he's very
And
proud of it.
yeah, but yet he don't know any names.
Yeah,
Very odd.
and that was funny because Julia too. It's like she seems to remember almost all of the details about people, but she can't remember faces. And then this guy, oh, he has a photographic memory, but like he can't remember the name.
Yeah, but at some point we find out that Frank Saunders has a brother named. We think his name is Fred Saunders because somebody alludes to Fred Saunders, so I'm guessing
Yeah.
that's the brother's name. So that's where we kind of start to put two and two together. There's a really cool scene where Julia's at that hideaway apartment. Oh my God! Could I go back? Do you remember the TV? How it looked in there, Aleece? The TV. Listen, I'm
Let's
stuck on
see.
style right now. Oh, hold on. I'll see if I can do this anyways, because I've got the movie going here. But here we go. Can everybody see that? See the TV there?
Oh, yes, yes.
Look at that TV. I want one of those so bad. Are they on eBay? Somebody please tell me. Where
They've
can I
got to
get
be around someplace.
But that is just like the coolest thing. Like I would love to be watching TV like that rather than these big flats. I'm not. Well, unless I'm watching a really good movie and I'm going to say, hey, I got to be on that big screen. But anyways, I thought that was very cool. Okay, so he alludes to Fred, this character. Then we're introduced to another woman who is coming, I think, from America. Was she the Conchetta de Crosa, or what was her name? I think.
I didn't write her name down, but yes.
Was she an American? I don't think
Well,
so.
no. I mean, she.
No, she wasn't because she lives there in Italy, so she's Italian.
Yes.
She's the one that has a twin sister.
Convenient identical twin, or inconvenient in this case.
Right,
for the twin, at least.
Yeah. So we're introduced to her, and she gets killed in the church, don't she?
No, that is she was a teacher.
We don't know what we're talking about, do we?
Yeah, there was a woman because she was doing like I think an English lesson.
Yes.
She is the one that is killed in the church.
Got you. So there's another character who's I don't know the name. There's too many of them.
Yeah, I don't remember her name. She's not in the movie that much.
No, she just
at all.
Yeah, they show her at the chalkboard teaching in English. You come to Roma. I was a you come to Roma. Yeah. You know. And she gets it because they're watching her. No, yeah. Is it her?
Yeah, the police lead around basically like, oh, you're on this list, you might be killed, and we're doing a terrible job, so of course you're gonna die.
Okay, yeah. So, hey, Choppa, what's going on, Choppa? Hey, Paul L, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Yeah, this is a hot mess, man. Telling you, Paul. But, sometimes it's good. You guys listen to a hot mess tonight. But listen, you guys know over 40 streams what I think of a lot of these Giallo films. I think this one's worth watching. At least don't. It's like, no way. What is wrong with you, Dino? You are nuts. But okay, so a woman gets in the altar to confess.
In the confessional, yeah.
And she's been a naughty girl.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, if only the hot priest from Fleabag was there, this movie would be very different.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, listen, the cops are outside standing, being doofuses, and Mario figures it out and gets the cops and the inspector to come there, and they find out that she's dead. She's got the moon pendant on her. So, I mean, evidently the brother, okay, Fred Saunders is the killer. I'm not going to say who he is at this moment. We'll build up to the suspense towards the end. We're an hour in. Hold up a little bit longer or leave, whatever you want to do.
No, please stay.
No, or stay. Fleabag, yeah, CM.
Yes.
But evidently this Fred Saunders has, he gave his brother, Frank Saunders, I'm trying to remember the name, that moon pendant.
Yes, on a keychain.
Yeah, and that's why he's leaving it to each one he kills. He must have bought a bulk box of them, which
he wasn't 3D printing it back in '72. That's for sure.
No, so he found it at a local store and said, "Oh, I found them. Now I'm going to leave them with everyone I kill." So the moon phase killer. I mean, or the half moon killer, not the moon phase killer.
Yeah.
Aleece,
there's moon in it. It's okay. I like moon.
The suspense is terrible. I hope it will last. Yeah, are we dragging you along just a little bit? Who's the beautiful woman on the screen? Says Paul L. Oh, hey, that's Aleece.
It's Dino.
Yeah. Yeah. The one with the hat on. That's me. I just joined. Was in another live. Paul L. You've been here many times, Paul. Right? Yeah. What's going on, man? You missing Saturday nights? What's up? Anyways, oh my God, where the hell? Oh, so his brother is leaving these in dependence on all the killed. So there you go.
Yes.
Oh God, where do we go now? What's next, Aleece? Do you even know?
Well, I think I noted it's around this time that we get actual FaceTime with the priest.
Yes.
Who immediately I wrote, I like Shady Priest. I like his performance, and he had a line that I really liked that I wrote down because he hands Mario a Bible and like, oh, take this with you. Like, today, even those representing God rely on advertising. That's a good line. I like that.
Yes. The priest character is, let's just say it. It ends up being Fred Saunders is the priest, and the priest is going to be the killer. We'll just get it out there. What the hell?
Yeah.
And Paul, you just joined. You were in another live. What are you doing in another live? This is where you're supposed to be every Saturday night. So, make sure you jot that down. 8 p.m. Eastern time. Come on, bud. Anyways, yeah. So listen, we're going to find out that the priest is Fred Saunders, and this is where I'm like, I mean, it's interesting, but how the hell did he become a priest? And how did he become a priest there in Italy? And suddenly after these women, and that was an odd choice to begin with. No, am I wrong? That's just me.
I mean, I guess I could see, I mean, it's not too outrageous to maybe assume that if he even joined the priesthood in America, that maybe he would have been sent to Italy or stationed there. He could have requested that, because that is, Italy, Rome, the seat of Catholicism. So
could have figured out a way to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's after this point that we have the drill kill.
Yes.
Which is
talk about the drill kill.
Well, the whole scenario was a bit funny to me because I forget the woman's name, but the cops are making her stay put in, her apartment or hotel room, whatever it is. And she's like, oh, well, I need to pick up my son from school. And they're like, well, you can't go out. There's a killer on the loose who, you're on his list. Is there anyone else you could send, like a friend, a relative? And so she sends her identical twin sister to pick up her kid. And then
How stupid is that?
Yeah, like, oh my. Wow, what a bad day to be a twin in that situation. But
And the cops
so
know
then
it.
she sends the kid, up to the flat, whatever, and stays behind to buy a newspaper from a stand and go in by herself.
Yeah.
And,
And
it's not like the killer is looking for someone who looks exactly like you. And
right. Yeah. Well, and this is, and she gets into the elevator, and this is where the killer comes right in, and the drill kill, and she's dead. So she's gone, but the actual, I think her name's Conchetta. I think that's her name. We're going with that. But she's still up in the flat because she sent her identical twin out to get her son.
yeah,
And this is the problem I had with that, is that wouldn't the police have figured that out too? Like, no, she's your identical twin sister. No, I don't think you could do that. Or even she would have thought that if she's worried.
you would think. But again, this is awful police work again. And just people just acting very nonsensically, very stupidly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the kill. Do you want to talk about the kill itself? Well,
Yeah, sure.
Becca's too tall. That's one way to get drilled. Heyo.
Oh boy. Becca, come on.
See, that's my kind of sense of humor. So thank you, Becca.
Becca's yeah, she's always here. Always got a sense of humor. I love it. Good one, Becca. And she got drilled all right. She got bloody drilled. Okay, Elise, yeah, talk about the kill.
Oh, just this was. I felt that this one was probably the most like, if you think about a Giallo kill, this is kind of what you think of, with the very bright red blood. It's a lot of blood coming out. Yeah, it was a good kill. I still think that the one towards the beginning was,
Kathy.
yeah, I think that was more effective for me. But this one, it was a more it was a
it was
people
fun.
probably think I'm so weird. I'm like, this was a fun kill, but
Yeah. Well, it's always
You know
weird
what?
saying that, because you're trying to, as a horror fan, you're trying to say, what the coolest kill in the film, and it just always seems so strange that you're saying the coolest kill. Like, if you were some ordinary random person coming around, and you hear this and you're going, wait, what are they saying? They don't
yeah,
get
like, I don't want these people around me or my children or
no. Exactly.
society.
Right. And the fact that, I think it was just the fact that the drill came into play in a film like this, is what got horror fans a little excited. Listen, it's not talked about, it's not like there's whole, things written up on the drill kill in this film, but
Right.
we'll move on. Okay, so we go back to Barrett. Okay, we can start concluding this and rounding this out. Where it's 5 after the hour. It's 5 after the hour, and you guys need to get some rest.
The clock on the wall says 9 o'clock.
Calm down, Paul. Be respectful in the chat. Anyways, we're introduced back to Barrett again. Okay, because they go back, and Mario goes back to the flat, and Barrett is drugged out on the chair. And this is very funny. I don't know if you picked up on it. He picks up the syringe of drugs that Barrett shot up with, which still seems to be half full.
Yes.
And Mario goes, he smells it. And he
Is this morphine? Like, no, dude, that's heroin. Like, I've never seen heroin, but like, even I'd be like, no, that's obviously heroin. Like,
but
this morphine? What?
And does
Mario, come on.
Does morphine?
You're a fashion designer. You should know this.
And does morphine have a smell? It's like, I just thought that was odd that he's like, I mean, I think arsenic, you know how they say it has an almond smell, but you got your
Yes.
up to the nose and you're smelling it, and I'm like going, oh, that's just very odd. That's strange. I don't know. Anyways, so Barrett ends up hanging himself, is what happens. And did I miss something? I know you take verse notes too. Yeah. No. Okay.
Let's see. Oh, there was that sort of fake out plan with Julia, with Mario getting, like, there's paparazzi and Julia runs out, and so she's discovered and revealed to be alive, and Mario and the police had set this up to try to draw the killer in without telling Julia, is what I gathered, but
yeah,
it doesn't succeed.
Ending?
Well, this is leading up to the Barrett's suicide.
Oh, okay.
Because they had tapped the phone to the flat that they're staying at, and
I hope you Googled that.
Yeah, I kind of.
Heroin has a vinegar smell to it. Yeah, I hope you Googled that. Well, I have no idea. Yeah, I wouldn't know. Anyways, cool info. So I'm sorry, Aleece, I interrupted you. Go on.
No, all good. Yeah, so I gathered that they didn't inform Julia that they were doing this, and she faints because she thinks the killer's after her, but it was actually Mario. But while they didn't catch who the killer was, they tapped the phone, and that is to Barrett's apartment, and they go there, and Barrett is found hanging.
Yeah.
And again, awful police work. They're like, okay, case closed. His suicide was his confession, and
exactly, it's Barrett.
Yeah, yep. So it's for the time being, it's thought that Barrett was the one who had been committing the murders. That he had been hung up on some woman and something or other, but it's pinned on him, but still Mario is not convinced. There's still
I'm a recovering addict, 6 years clean. Well, congratulations, Paul.
Yeah, good for you. That's amazing.
It's always good to know what's going on there. But yeah, no, much love to you, buddy. Anyways, and Shaggy's here. Ruh-roh, zoink, Scoob. What's going on, John? Nice to see you. Yeah, listen, Paul, I can't say it enough, man. That's awesome. 6 years clean. If it's heroin that you're clean from, 6 years, that's a long time. So you've made it over that hump, buddy. I can't praise you enough, man. Anyway,
that's fantastic.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. So let's get to the ending of this film then, because they go and kind of try to do this setup. Wasn't Julia the one that said it? She's like, I got an idea.
Did she? I don't, maybe.
I don't think Mario said it. I think it was Julia who said, hey, I have an idea on how to, they come up with a scheme to try to
was it?
Kill
her. I must have missed that. I don't know.
Listen, I could be wrong. But it's in my head that Julia came up with this plan, but nevertheless, Julia.
Well, I like that better.
Do you? Okay. Well, let's see how it plays out, because after they come up with the scheme, Mario gets taken away by the police. The inspector comes, takes him away, and then she gets photographed, and you hear on the news the next day that, oh my God, Julia has survived the killer. So now the killer knows that she's alive and where she's at. And it seems like there's nobody there to protect her. It was her, says Mike Barrett. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. That went over. I don't know. That must have gone totally over my head, or maybe I just had zoned out for that very important plot point.
A lot of things went over our head in this movie. Oh my God, I don't know. It's one of those movies. Again, I've said in streams in past, some of these giallos will get you so confused, and they're so hard to follow along with characters and thus, and I don't know.
Yeah, and yeah, there's a lot of the editing in a lot of these movies. You know, it's very, very choppy and sometimes nonsensical. Like, wait, why did we cut to here? And then it does a hard, quick cut back to like the prior scene. So it's very jarring from an editing perspective as well.
Those Italian and their Giallo genre. What's going on there? Listen, I'm being serious because yes, whereas I found some very cool gems, I'd say about 70% of what I watch is just like 5 out of 10, and I didn't need to really sit through that, but it was okay. But you know, don't ask me, Aleece, why I started down this road, but I did, and I seem to want to finish it, but then again, I get frustrated and derailed sometimes. But anyways, it is what it is. But the ending of this film, okay, so Mario gets carted off. The killer ends up coming to where she's at. She's not being protected by police officers. She's there by herself. So that point alone, hard, quick cut, no pun intended. Dave Plouffe, the gardening.
Thank you, Dave Plouffe. Touche.
Oh, he's the professor. So yeah, watch how you pronounce and say things. Anyways, no, he's a good guy. He's awesome. He's been here from way back before I even started. He's been here like 8 years, something like that. Good on you, Dave, following me.
Hell yeah, Dave.
I'm telling you, man. Anyways, so nobody's protecting her, and the killer comes there, and this is where we find out it's the priest. And did it get you to, Aleece, that am I wrong? The priest shows up, right? And
because this is after they think that, you know, case is solved, it was Barrett, and she's packing a suitcase and the record's playing, the record gets shut off, and she's like, Mario, I know it was you. She comes out, and the half moon medallion is just sitting on the record player, and then it's revealed it was the priest. He was Frank Saunders's brother.
And he comes though and breaks in the house and chases her around to kill her. But what gets me is throughout the whole movie, it's the typical giallo, the black gloves, you know, and you don't see the killer except the black. And there were 2 points in this film where there was a black glove killer with there was hair. And then there was a later scene, I think in the drowning scene, where the black gloves come again, and it looks like a woman's arm. There was no hair, and it was like, I noticed that because I always look at those things, because in giallos you never know if it's a female or a male. The majority of times it's male, but a lot of times they incorporate the female as a killer too. So I saw that, and I'm like going, are they, you know, that's just not right. You shouldn't tinker with our minds that way. But why the priest came not disguised, no gloves, no mask, no hat, no clothes. He comes as the priest, as himself.
Because it's the end of the movie, and we need a resolution, and it's time for the reveal. So screw it.
Oh yes, and he chases her around, and at this point, I'm going, they set this up. Why is this priest in the house chasing her? I don't get it. It was a setup right?
Well, I thought the setup had happened before I thought that this was, you know, they thought that at this point, there was that earlier setup trying to lure in.
Setup. I'm confused. This wasn't the setup then. It was an earlier setup.
Yeah, the setup was before, when Mario gets carted away and it's revealed that Julia's alive, and then it's after that they think it's Barrett. They go to his apartment, find that he's, you know, they think he's hung himself, and then the police are like, okay, you know, we're done. He killed these people for this reason, for these reasons, and Mario is still suspicious, and then so they think that everything is all finished, all done with. So
okay, so see, this is why I need somebody to help me along with these reviews, because you know what, I got that wrong. Anyways, so yes, the end of the movie then is not the setup, and that's why she's being chased by the killer. But she's chased all around. She runs to a villa, some other villa, tries to get in, and as the killers come at her, Mario jumps in, and I don't know how he found her, but he jumped in out of nowhere like Spider-Man.
Yeah, and then the priest reveals all like why he did it, and that he killed Barrett to make it look like he had killed himself over
Look at
guilt
the title
for the murders.
Yeah, this is perfect for tonight's stream. I apologize, but what movie are we talking about? 7 Bloodstained Orchids, 1972.
No, I'm wondering that too, Paul. But yeah, 7 Bloodstained Orchids.
Yeah, listen, this is what I love about these discussions. Even when they go off the rails and they're crazy, I mean, it's still a fun discussion, you know. Guys, you know, some of you guys have seen these before, and Shoni, I think that's how you pronounce it. Thank you for your awesome channel. Helps so much with my insomnia, and E.G. Marshall reminds me of my childhood when I listened to Mystery Theater. Well, thank you, Shoni. Appreciate you being part of the channel. Hopefully you like all the other content too, as crazy as that is at times. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, it ends with them scuffling. They fall into a pool, and you're wondering, oh my God. Go ahead, Elise.
Oh my gosh, so the priest, he starts, trying to garrote Julia, and then Mario jumps in, and they both fall in the pool, and Julia's just watching, not calling the police or trying to help her husband not die. Like, she's just sitting there watching, like, let's see how this plays out. And I'm like, oh my God, move. There's a shovel. Shovel him, Julia. Shovel him. Do something.
Yes, there was a shovel. I don't get it, but she let them duke it out. It's like she was sitting there going, oh, I think I'm okay, but I hope you win, Mario.
It would have been really funny if, they're fighting in the pool and she's just like, bye.
Right? You don't want to watch this movie, Dave? Come on. This was something else, man. Love all the different shows. Thank you, Shoni. Yeah, so they're in the pool, they're scuffling, and at first the priest pulls himself up, and you think, oh, he of course you don't think that, because the killer's going to be dead. But then he falls down, and Mario gets up, and this is where I was just like, what? Because Mario gets up, out, grabs a hold, they hold hands, and they walk off. And end scene.
Yeah. Roll credits.
That's it. Such a lovely movie. I ate some chips and drank some Ovaltine while I watched it. It was so fun. I liked it. Had a little incense going. It was just
nice.
Cool. It's one of those movies. Yeah.
I had some incense going as well, but I think for me, this movie, so much of it was just dull to me, and there are some really good moments that I really enjoyed, and I think the kills for the most part were solid, and there were some good visuals and some good, a few good moments of cinematography, but overall, it was just the plot was just kind of.
It was just a piece of crap.
No, I wouldn't say no, not a piece of crap. It just it was not. It did not engage me, and I think
that.
I think this movie, you probably, if it had been tighter, you probably could have cut out at least 20 minutes. And if like the narrative was a bit tighter, if like the structure of it, like if there are just things that could have been done to make it a stronger film, like over like across the board.
Yeah.
And
like
you know, I know that Giallo films have this meandering kind of quality, and that's part of what makes them Giallo. And a lot of times I can go with that, but this one, it just felt long. Like it's only an hour 32 minutes, and it felt to me so much longer than that.
Listen, yeah, no, and again, I get it 100%. There are a lot of these. Listen, most of them are very like slow paced and drawn out. This one, I don't think it was so slow paced, but again, some could look at it in your point of view and just see it as, you know, oh God, this is just going on too long. I just can't take it. I especially the Mario bits, you know, during the middle of the movie where he's just running off doing this and that, and you're like going, where's this going? What are you doing? So I get it. For me, definitely the same things. I enjoy all the same things that you said. Like, you know, the cinematography was pretty darn good. The music, you know, typical Giallo style was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
The acting was kind of spot on. Maybe that one dubbing, you know, was not too good. But overall, you know, again, I think it was an okay film for me. I kind of thought it was okay. Again, this falls in that kind of 5 out of 10 spot.
Yeah, just
Okay.
middle of the road.
Yeah.
I just hope that when I die, however I die, somehow that music will just start playing. Like, you know, I just, you know, I'm dead. Boom, 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 ba-dum, boom. Like, please.
No, that would be cool. Mike Barrett does say roll credits. That's Italian for you. I say that every stream, Mike Barrett. The way it just. What was the film we just did? Oh God, what is
Pieces?
wrong? Pieces. Look at how that ended. It's just like, what the frick?
See, that ending was insane, and I loved it. Like, it made no sense. It's like, it's so silly, but oh my God, like, it's hilarious.
I know. No, Paul, much love, man. It's definitely good to have you here. So yes, I think that's it. That's a wrap. Yeah, it is what it is. The thing is, Aleece, I go into these are new to me too. And it's to the detriment of some of the streams, I guess. When you pick films that either some people know isn't their cup of tea, or, you know, they're just not into that type of film, you know, not too many people going to care or be interested. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Next week, maybe we'll pick some kind of maybe a more popular movie or something. Maybe something 80s or in cheesy, maybe. Who knows?
That could be fun.
Yeah, so maybe we'll, you know, do so. Not that I'm abandoning Giallo altogether, because of course I'm still taking this journey, as bad as it is, I guess. But yes, we probably will do something a bit different next Sunday, so stay tuned for that. And Aleece has her videos every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. They premiere every Saturday or Friday night. Yeah, every Friday. So look for that too. And with that said, yeah, I guess there's no last words. We just got to end this thing, right, Aleece?
Yeah, just